We're approaching the end of yet another journey, folks. With 2 WWF games left for the PlayStation 1, we're going to finally tackle WWF Smackdown by Ukes and published by THQ in the year 2000. Oh, come on. 2000 was only 24 years ago. Jesus H. Christ, I need a beer.
That was a long time ago.
Anyways, WWF Smackdown is a game I never played. In fact, I never played any WWF games for the PS1 outside of Smackdown 2 Know Your Role when I was a kid. It wasn't until I started this journey of reviewing every WWF game for the PS1 and Sega Genesis that I get a chance to play the other 5 known games. So enough talk. We got a lot of complaining to do about this one.
Oh boy, here we go.
For WWF Smackdown has some neat ideas, but lacking in depth and overall quality. For being Ukes' first WWF game, it really shows. We'll start off with our usual chapter of Create a Wrestler, except in this game, you cannot really do much. Coming off of Attitude, you'd expect more or about the same, right?
Well, yeah, but...
Instead of having the ability to pick a face, hair, facial hair, eyes, nose, etc. like you could in Attitude, you instead can only pick a preset head, torso, and legs.
Wait, what?
Yeah, this means you have no in-depth customization unlike in Attitude. Plus, this also means you have to use the heads, torsos, and legs of all the superstars and divas. So you want to make anyone you know? Well, you can't. You have to basically use the head of Stone Cold with the torso of China and the legs of Kane. That's the literal amount of customization you have. It's that bad. Like, holy fucking shit. How is it this awful?
It's just bad.
This means I cannot make Charlie, Muda, or Zack.
You know what? This sucks. And then now you're saying it too.
Exactly, my Gollum stunt double.
What the fuck?
I couldn't make anyone or anything. I just randomly selected parts and then gave them dumb names. I made a prostitute T-Rex, a gay robot referee, and a Florida man grandpa. That's all I could do with this, without using real wrestlers' parts.
And then I gotta be like, I gotta have a joke there.
It gets even worse when you realize this game doesn't have unique entrances, as everyone just walks in place with a copyrighted video playing in the background. So you have even less customization than Attitude right there. Also, no voices are in the game. It's silent, outside of the music playing, crowd cheering, and sound effects. I absolutely hate this. Why did they even bother to include such a lackluster, shallow piece of shit mode? It's even worse than WWF Warzone. They should have just canned it in favor of making this gameplay better.
Wow, walked right into that one.
Unlike Attitude, the controls are not much of a mess. It's more arcade-like, and I enjoy that to an extent, which I'll go more over in the combat section next. But for your button inputs, everything is pretty well placed without needing to swap to different layouts in the options. X is punch, and yes, it's called X and not cross, damn it. I'm old and I will never accept change.
Damn straight.
Square is block, triangle is your run button, circle does your grapples, R1 is to climb the ropes, enter and exit the ring and pick up weapons, L1 is your finisher with L2 being your target changer. The game also plays best using a D-pad and not your left analog stick. Save that for the bedroom.
Wait, what?
Now, Onto the combat and its arcade goodness. This game has a better grapple system. It's easier to pull off moves on your opponent, unlike the Genesis games, and unlike Attitude, where it felt more like you just had to mash random buttons in hopes of doing anything, much like the Genesis games. The movement feels pretty fluid and fast-paced. You have to be ready to strike and counter as the AI won't hold back. The game is very arcade-like, but not as punishing as WrestleMania the arcade game is. It's satisfying body slamming your opponent non-stop. However, this is where the cons come in.
You got something to say. Just say it.
There's not much for the combat, as you will just pull off the same exact moves over and over again. Now, while you may think that's normal, as each wrestler has their own movesets like any fighting game, and while that is true,
Go on.
the problem here is everyone just uses the same exact moves, no matter who it is. I gave each of my 3 custom wrestlers a different moveset, yet they just do the same moves. Now you may think, that sounds like you need to press different buttons for different results. To which is sadly not the case, as even the AI will just do the same moves over and over and over and over again, as your cause do. There's a whopping 32 wrestlers included in this game, featuring the 1999 lineup. You can see everyone in the video on screen, but I'll name a few. Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, Stone Cold, the Hardy Brothers, Shane McMahon, X-Pac, The Rock, Big Show, Chyna, Edge, Gangrel, Steve Blackman. Huh.
But you're right.
So,
Is this really the first time you've had this conversation?
Also Mankind, Mark Henry, Paul Bear, and Vince McMahon. Not a bad lineup with a good amount of legends. Does suck there's not much in the way of divas, but it is a different time with only 3 in game. But whatever. Overall, I like a lot of these wrestlers. Does suck they couldn't include any classic wrestlers like Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior though. Now onto the game modes and how they play in comparison to other games I've reviewed so far. We'll cover the traditional bunch of one-on-one, tag team, hardcore, cage match, and Royal Rumble. Now why only these few? Because the game isn't worthy of fully covering, and I doubt anyone wants to hear me bitch for roughly 50 minutes.
True that. Now that's true, Brandon.
So when it comes to setting up a match, it's a bit clunky as the UI is all over the place. Not sure what it wants to be. You select side to side to which mode you want. Then you select the player by pressing differently on the D-pad. Choose your wrestler in a very slow up and down manner on the D-pad, and finally select some settings like ring out, the arena, ring mat, etc.
You're right, it is oddly clunky and expositional.
Once in game, however, you'll find yourself dealing with yet more clunky controls.
God's sake.
There's no referee or commentary in the game either, which is a strange change from Attitude. I mean, that game didn't have a ref. Only the 2D games on Genesis did outside of WrestleMania the arcade game. So instead of having any real information on what's going on and waiting to hear all types of jibber jabber,
sorry.
you just hear the crowd's never-ending few-second loop of cheering, the sound effects, and random rock music. Your goal in a traditional wrestling match is just to pin your opponent, which is easy once you get used to the controls, as just trying to grab your opponent can cause you to pin them instead of picking them off the mat or trying to body slam them. It's a functional match type that does suck. You can't beat a ref to get away from illegal moves and using weapons, however. Relying on the AI to have your back is very much as irresponsible as it was in Super WrestleMania for the Genesis.
Now, this really pisses me off to no end. Fuck you!
They won't bother to really help you in the tag team match. In fact, I was getting pinned non-stop after being body slammed non-stop. Getting destroyed by two wrestlers as my partner just stood there wasn't really fun. Heck, I even tried to tag my partner in, but instead the game made me punch him, making the poor bastard go flying. It's a fun mode, but damn, don't hope for the AI to do anything for you.
2, 3 count fall.
My favorite match type is always hardcore. Give me a steel chair and someone's skull to crack, and I'll be a happy man. Of course, it took a minute to get used to the controls, as grabbing a weapon can make you get out of the ring or back in if you want something outside of it. This also caused issues, as I wanted to climb back into the ring, but instead I was grabbing different weapons from under the ring. Weapon combat can be a bit clunky and off, but it's an overall fun mode, just brutalizing people with different weapons over and over again. I mean, come on, how can you go wrong with hardcore? Even Warzone had it, and it wasn't the worst thing ever, and I fucking hated Warzone. I did like the bell though. One of the best match types is cage match. Just smashing people into the cage walls, shaking walls to make them fall from high heights, and brutalizing each other enough for one to have enough time to escape and claim victory. It's a brutal fun time. Though, much like Attitude, I could easily scale the wall, but when it comes to climbing down, I still couldn't do it. Instead, I just drop off back into the ring. Is there a button combination I have to press? I tried down, I tried R1 and down, I tried R1, I tried X, nothing would work. Then, after a brutalizing battle, the match ended abruptly because I was pressing buttons to shake the cage and stop Stone Cold, But logic doesn't care about what I have to say, as Stone Cold said he was going to win the match. The worst Royal Rumble I've ever experienced. That's what this game has to offer. Now, why is it so bad? Well, the key to why it's not a full Royal Rumble. Instead, you have 4 in the ring, and then one comes out after someone gets eliminated. And yes, there's a 4 wrestler limitation, sadly, just like Attitude. Even though this game looks so much worse and came out years later, that's it. That's all that will come out. So instead of your traditional 30-man Royal Rumble, it's just 5 total. There's an annoying static in the audio. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but I can. I mean, I know my channel has audio problems in the past and currently still. But what is going on with the static pop when doing anything in game? Is this normal? It's kind of irritating, to be honest.
No one likes a bipolar clown.
One good thing I'll give WWF Smackdown is the load times are surprisingly fast. In fact, they're faster than Attitude ever could hope for. But when the game looks worse with less content, I guess that just makes sense. The UI is a bit of a clunky mess to navigate, as you have to confirm and move side to side, selecting every one/thing when creating wrestlers or setting up a game. It could be a bit annoying. Honestly, I just hate this UI. I mean, every single other menu looks different, has a different layout, with different controls. It's a complete and utter mess. Who designed it? A meth head?
You really are too picky.
There's always this garage band low quality, muffled trash rock music playing during every match. This gets old real quick, and I highly recommend you turn it off. Seriously, it's just awful. Now, let's be done with this review and move on to the score already. I don't ever want to touch this game again.
He ain't lying.
At the end of the day, WWF Smackdown is a disappointing game. While I wasn't expecting much, especially since I grew up playing its sequel, which is a million times better from what I do remember.
Maybe some people enjoy nostalgia.
You'd think it would at least be better than WWF Attitude by Acclaim, yet it wasn't. In fact, this game is worse than Attitude.
What?
The lack of content, the controls, the combat, the graphics, the audio quality, and of course the awful creator wrestler mode. WWF Smackdown just made me want to go back and say, sorry Attitude, you were actually pretty average after all in comparison.
I'm sorry. What the f?
I will recommend Smackdown, but only to those who like cock and ball torture. It's a mediocre game that shouldn't be played, but it's doable, just nothing special. Eventually I'll get to the sequel. I just have to wrap up the last Sega Genesis WWF game first, and also the last Sega Dreamcast fishing game. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
Is it over?
finally time to review the very last WWF game for the PlayStation 1.
Oh my god, no!
After finishing up the last WWF game for Sega Genesis and the last fishing game for the Sega Dreamcast, it's time to get WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, for the PlayStation over with.
Change the channel, Mark!
Yeah, I know, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I have to finish this up to move on to other projects. I'm thinking of stopping all compilations after this to focus on random reviews again like I did earlier in the year. But also because I hate having to make a video on the same thing over and over again. It gets old for me, as it does for you.
I hear that.
So let's jump into WWF Smackdown 2 already and see if it's as good as I remember for when I was a kid, since that was the last time I really played this game. Is nostalgia blinding me? Is this game actually garbage?
Maybe. Probably. Definitely.
We'll start out with Create a Wrestler mode. Thankfully, unlike the first Smackdown game, 2 will allow up to 10 created wrestlers instead of 4. But is that really enough of an improvement? Well, they also included more advanced ways of customization by selecting pieces, recoloring them, and including a new system to change up your stats. So now, you can make powerhouses, flying body slammers, and people who don't know what a safe word is via Roughneck.
Give up!
The con to the improved calm mode is we don't have much to work with still. They only slightly improved from the first game. I wasn't able to give Charlie a white shirt, instead having to settle with a black one. Same thing for Asmongold.
Oh my god. Who the fuck was this for? They forgot, maybe it's undecided because the developers haven't figured it out.
Meanwhile, Mudahar was easy to make, but the average Asmongold viewer did hit a snag with the furry mask not being a thing. So I had to just go ahead and make him purdy.
What the fuck?
The last person I made was JD Delay, but they don't have much in the way of tattoos, and you can only have one on your body. So we can actually make something instead of using the actual wrestler's body parts, though that's still an option. What else is there? You can now choose their signs and assign who they're on good terms with or not. But that's about it. Overall, a meh Create a Wrestler mode.
You really are too picky.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I still say WWF Attitude has the best Create a Wrestler mode for the PlayStation 1. The controls remain unchanged from Smackdown 1.
Lazy.
Using X to attack, square to block, triangle to run, circle for grapple, D-pad for movement, R1 to grab weapons to get in and out of the ring, on top of the ropes, and of course to switch targets. Which did lead me to suffer a lot. I mean, a lot.
One.
So control-wise, it's still the same and clunky mess. I can't believe I'm saying this, but WWF Attitude might be the best one of the traditional wrestling games for PS1 so far.
What the
The combat remains unchanged from this first Smackdown game.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
So there's not much to say unless you haven't seen my review for WWF Smackdown.
No! Well, yeah!
So here's a brief summary of what I said before. The combat is very fast-paced and arcade-like. In turn, this means the AI doesn't play around, so get used to being thrown around the ring and matches not lasting than about a minute. Huh, I feel like I should put a sex joke in there, but nah, I'm more classy than that.
What a load.
So now on to the match types. We'll only cover 7 of them, with some of our usual picks, but also a couple of new ones. We'll start out with your traditional match via one-on-one. Setting up a game is easier than before with much better UI. On top of that, we can choose more rules than before to really tweak each match we play. It's an overall better experience so far, but what about the matches? It's simple fun if you can look past the clunky mechanics. I was having more fun gameplay wise in Smackdown 2 than I was in Smackdown 1. Your standard one-on-one match requires you to pin your opponent, or if you change the rules, maybe even knock them out or make them give up, you name it. It's a fine mode that plays well enough here. Instead of the normal tag team match, this time we'll take a look at the alternative option, the more chaotic fun one called Tornado Tag. This is where teams of 2 are in the ring at the same time, pulling off all kinds of moves together and trying to get a pin while their partner holds off the other guy. It's a fun mode that was so intense, but sadly the lock-on system kept getting in the way. Honestly hated how it would just randomly select who to attack. This made me hit my partner more times than I wanted to. It also gave my opponents the chance to body slam me non-stop. So fuck the lock-on system, cause no matter what, I cannot stop targeting random opponents. It won't let me target who I desire, leaving me open to be always attacked.
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your safe boy.
My favorite match type in all of wrestling is always hardcore. Where else can I beat a 400-pound, steroid-abusing, 7-foot-tall dude to a bloody pulp with a chair?
You ain't lying.
Just getting to smash all kinds of weapons into your opponents, watching them squirm on the floor in agony, bleeding out. It's just a fun time. I even got to beat Mudahar with a nightstick, which is kind of funny and disturbing in a way.
Bruh.
Hey, don't look at me, Muda. It's Charlie who did it.
Look at me. Do I look crazy to you? I didn't think so.
Having Charlie, Muda, Zack, and JD just brutalize each other in and out of the ring, using each other's favorite weapons against them, which you can set and create a wrestler. This mode is just pure fun. I'll never get sick of hardcore matches. Tables, ladders, chairs, sledgehammers, barbed wire, thumbtacks, C4 explosives, 2x4s, nightsticks, televisions, you name it. All just a good time. Another match type is Hell in a Cell, found under the special category alongside several others, but to keep this review short, I'll only cover a few of them.
Not about me being lazy.
Hell in the Cell has you in the ring, surrounded by a cage. There's no escape unlike a normal cage match, which we'll get to. Instead, you must pin, knock out, or tap out your opponent with nowhere to run or hide. No weapons, no rules, just one-on-one in a small space. It's a fun match type that I kind of wish we could recreate with Undertaker and Mick Foley incident, where we're on top of the cage and it gives way, but it is what it is. What should have been a fun match type ended up being almost 15 minutes of pure agony. Not only because of the controls, but because of the non-stop loading screens that occur every time a new wrestler jumps into the ring.
Man, this sucks. It's just like, I don't even know what to say.
It's awful. Thankfully, unlike the first Smackdown game, this one is the full 30 wrestlers, and I like how this game doesn't care about gender. Men and women are allowed in the ring. Awesome seeing Chyna, may she rest in peace, and even Lita, another legend, and a sexy one at that, duke it out in the ring with many other wrestlers. But then the loading times kicked in again. Dear God, this made me almost snap.
I'm off my meds!
Hurry up, it's starting. I don't know what we're in for. I'm a little confused whether this is a comedy or a tragedy. A catastrophe in the end would certainly clear things up. Let's watch.
Hurry it up!
A classic match type thanks to The Undertaker is casket match. Yes, the iconic match is here, and it's not that fun. I mean, it's okay, but you just beat each other till one can be put in the coffin. If they get knocked down while in the coffin, the lid magically appears, and it's a loss for the one inside. Kind of anticlimactic, really. last match type I'll cover is cage match. Unlike Hell in a Cell, you have the ability to escape this one, and it is the way you win. All the while trying to knock down your opponent long enough in the hopes of having enough time to climb the wall and escape. The tension is there, leading you to scramble for the cage wall, hoping to shake it enough for your opponent to fall and get hurt, then pound them till they don't get up for a while, and attempt to escape for yourself. This match is always fun, except when the controls are a pain. I'll never forgive you, WWF Warzone cage match. One of the worst aspects of this game when it comes to technical stuff is always the load times. It's just a PlayStation 1 tradition to have bad load times. It was the con of the console generation due to discs not being that good as a cartridge. The Nintendo 64 had better load times, but way less capacity for data than a standard disc. So there was always that con of disc-based games. In WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role, these load times are annoying as they occur every single time when you start a match, win a match, and navigate the menus, let alone choose to save your data.
Oh my God!
Like Smackdown 1, there's audio poppin', which is annoying. Seriously, why is this a thing? Was this a thing for basically every PlayStation 1 game? I never really had this issue with other games. Maybe it's just these wrestling games, whatever. Just a thing to be aware of when you play the game. It is that if you even want to play the game in the first place. At the end of the day, WWF Smackdown 2 Know Your Role is a mediocre game that I can't believe is as bad as it is.
Oh, bitch, bitch, bitch.
Given this was the only one I grew up playing, I remembered it better than this. But video games age like cottage cheese and hot Arizona desert sun.
That's beautiful. It's like poetry.
The game isn't good, nor is it the worst. That's still WWF Warzone by a country mile. Smackdown 2 just has clunky controls, meh combat, meh creation tools, long load times, lack of commentary, lack of a referee, PS1 era graphical glitches, and pointless entrances, all holding it back.
Is that all?
I still recommend the game and give it 2 stars for mediocre. I'm glad to be done with this series of games and probably won't be touching a wrestling game ever again anytime soon.
Yes! Oh, thank you, Lord in heaven.
With that, we wrap up yet another compilation. Overall, out of every WWF game for the PS1, I still have to give it to WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, for the best 2D one, but for the 3D and traditional wrestling game, That goes to WWF Attitude, to which I never thought I'd say. I mean, it wasn't that good, but compared to every other traditional wrestling game on here, with Warzone, Smackdown, and Smackdown 2, it's got the best overall graphics, combat modes, charm, and don't get me started on the commentary, voiced characters, and better create a wrestler.
Here, here.
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.
It's over. It's finally over.
After reviewing Smackdown 1 and 2 for PlayStation 1, I decided that it was time to check out the last 3 known Smackdown branded games, all of which are on the PlayStation 2. So that makes things easier for me, and let me tell you, I went in expecting a generational leap for this series since this was the first PS2 game of Smackdown, yet in reality, what I got was Smackdown 2 with improved graphics. Which I guess isn't a bad thing, but there's a few problems I have with it.
Surprise, surprise.
So let's see if we can finish up yet another journey before the end of 2024. This is WWF Smackdown. Just bring it. As per usual, the first thing we'll cover is Create a Wrestler / Superstar mode. I always like to create certain people and put them into wacky situations. Then again, if you've seen my other wrestling game reviews or antics videos, or any of my other reviews that allow you to create characters,
Oh, turn it off!
then you already know that. But for newcomers on my channel, I always try to make Charlie, Muta, and Zach. Except here
it comes.
You cannot make people like you could in Smackdown 2. Yeah, the creation tools are worse off this time around. Everyone has same face syndrome. No matter what you try to do, there's no variety to be had. I couldn't make Moist Critical, Some Ordinary Gamers, or even Asmongold. How can I make bald jokes and short people jokes now?
Like, that's gotta be up there with, like, a school shooting, a terrorist attack, maybe like a big law that was passed, and then one dude sucking another dude's dick.
Oh well, so it's Smackdown 1 all over again, which is fine. I'll just make a bunch of abominations like a Dragon Ball Z reject, your average Austin, Texas resident, and a Los Angeles street performer. So, disappointing character creation aside, isn't there anything positive to be said about Create a Superstar? Well, yes.
Say what?
You have several layers to add onto your superstars. You can deform them by giving them exaggerated body proportions. You can give them all kinds of colorful hair, clothes, and even skin tones. But hey, the best thing of all is, I can make a We Have Queso at Home version of Queso.
Dear God!
There's 2 other creation modes, Stable and Taunt, are here as well. But I won't be bothering with Taunt because it's taunts. These literally have no value to the game. If anything, it shouldn't even exist. I'd rather just make superstars and teams. So on to Create a Stable, where we can name our stable, decide who's in it. Depending on the amount of people in your stable, you'll have a few selections of entrances. It was fun making a few of these just to see their different entrances. So, on to the combat.
Whoa! What will he do?
Smackdown Just Bring It is basically Smackdown 2 copy and pasted, as everything feels the same and plays the same, including the auto lock-on system that will always pick the worst opponent and gives you no chance to pick the right one in front of you before you're decked by a meth head.
Trapping headbutts! Al Snow and Al Snow are competing continually.
So if you've played Smackdown 1 and 2, you'll feel right at home with Just Bring It. I don't mind it at all, but later games would really just make greater strides for a more enjoyable system, like in Smackdown vs. Raw 2007. Controls are the same layout as well, so there's no reason to talk about them. Instead, we should move on to the roster and what's different about it, for both better and for worse.
Attack seems effective. A hard shot by Al Snow.
Even back in the day, the roster was criticized, though as for being outdated. Yet to me, it should be for having a bunch of nobodies that no one remembers. A lot of these people are a total blur to my memory of early 2000s wrestling. Sadly, we lost many legends and future legends due to various reasons. Mostly because of them leaving the brand, but still it sucks, that happens. And when you prefer certain wrestlers and their music, movesets, and of course entrances, that always deals a blow to your playstyle, and of course, most importantly, customization possibilities. It's just okay, and I hope the last 2 Smackdown games will have more to offer in comparison.
I can hardly wait.
When it comes to setting up a game and the UI navigation as a whole, this game improves over Smackdown 1 and 2 greatly. Everything is just laid out nearly perfect with no issues navigating things. As I selected my match type, those participating in the rules, it was all very intuitive, plus load times are so fast it helps for a smoother experience. But the best thing about this generational leap is... For the first time, we finally have actual full-on entrances in WWE games. While still basic, they're an improvement anyways, since it's no longer just them walking in place with copyrighted video playing in the background anymore. Now I want to see everyone's entrances, especially when you make your own superstars.
Lord have mercy, look at this shade!
Your standard single match of one-on-one is here with all your usual rules and customization options. The combat is good outside of the lock-on system, picking the worst opponent with multiple in-ring. Thankfully here, things are less of an issue with only a single opponent.
Al Snow and Al Snow will match up tonight. This singles match will be an important match. Face Buster!
There's not much else to say about single, so let's talk about tag team matches.
DDT! Oh no!
Oh shit!
Normal tag has you and one wrestler working together with turns being taken against another team of 2.
Hey, who do you think you're talking to? Michael Cole and Taz at ringside! How can you miss that?
While I kind of like this, I kind of prefer when you have a 3-man tag team match or just even tornado tag.
We'll team up. The competition will be in the tag team match. The attack seems effective. A hard shot by Al Snow.
Normal tag is just too tame for my liking. It's good for beginners, but if you're experienced with wrestling games, you need something a little more, you know?
Showing some excellent moves. Belly to back flip. Did you see the intensity?
So for a more chaotic and even more fun experience, you gotta go tornado tag, so everyone is in the ring at once.
Let's get to it. Michael Cole at ringside. Hey, don't ignore me. This is a sacred...
This way is the best way to do tag. Non-stop body slams and bodies flying around the ring, working together to weaken your opponents, trying to cover your partner as they pin one of your foes. Tornado Tag is just better, plain and simple.
Twist of fate, match twist of fate. Here's the finisher. There's the 1, 2, 3. Al Snow lost the match.
Here are your winners, Al Snow and Al Snow.
Royal Rumble matches are a blast. They don't take long either, since there's no long loading screens in between every wrestler coming into the ring. This match only lasted under 10 minutes in comparison to the 20 plus in Smackdown 2.
Tonight, there will be no disqualification in the Royal Rumble match.
Oh, and this is the first and last game for years to allow up to 8 wrestlers into the ring at once. Yes, a Royal Rumble mode becomes pure chaos if you can keep people in a ring long enough to fill it up.
What will the outcome of this match be? Here's The Rock.
This mode is also an easy way to experience team-up attacks, equal rights, equal fights. Just one of the best match types of all time in WWE history, alongside the likes of Buried Alive, Hardcore, Hell in a Cell, and Backstage Brawls.
I'm lucky to see such an excellent match. Irish Whip! That was a great win!
Here is your winner, Dean Malenko.
Who's that?
My favorite mode in any wrestling game is always Hardcore Match. Give me a steel chair and someone's skull to crack. Then play some rock or metal, and I got a chair with your name on it, for I am a monster that's gonna kill you.
I get it.
I don't get it.
When you create wrestlers, you can set their weapons, so I try to give everyone something a little bit different. Of course, the guy I play as, Derp, has a fucking stop sign that eats up the ring with its size. Like, dear God, that's gotta be heavy.
Whoa! Did you see that? Whoa! I'm looking forward to seeing his next match.
Using various weapons to brutalize people, watching them squirm in agony. Nothing but pure bliss.
It's different from other superstars.
Hell in the Cell. Nothing better than being locked into a cage and fighting for survival and supremacy.
Michael Cole at ringside. Hey, don't ignore me. This is a sacred fight. Nobody can interrupt the match. Shut up. Anything is allowed in the Hell in the...
Especially when there's 6 wrestlers. My only complaint is I could never get anyone to smash each other into the cage wall. Not sure if it was a thing in this entry. I mean, that was fun in SmackDown vs. Raw games. Just scraping their faces along the cage and then throwing their faces into it. Brutality at its finest.
Oh no! What's gonna happen? You won't be able to get a date for a long time.
One of the honorable mentions of match types is the ladder match. Though, in this game, you don't have to struggle to get the belt. You can just grab it and win instantly. I remember in later games, you had to work to get it off the hook, and people could push the ladder away, leaving you dangling high up with no choice but to fall down.
The rock bottom! The rock bottom! There's a hard shot!
It's pure chaos seeing so many wrestlers compete to get the belt. One can just walk into the ladder and move it out of the way so you're no longer able to reach for the belt. The irritation of precision just to win the match, that drives you to keep going until you win.
I'm sure Al Snow will do well tonight. What a match!
Plus, it's also just so much fun bashing people with the ladder like a complete monster. I just love hardcore mode style fights. Prepare to be scheduled for chiropractic visits for the rest of your life.
What a move! There's a finisher! Oh! Wow!
I'm about to flip the table over!
people's elbow! The people's elbow!
Then when you win, it feels so good, like a cold slice of pizza after sex.
Excuse me, what?
Here is your winner, Al Snow!
Cage match is another classic. Just don't make the same mistake I did and turn it into a fatal four-way, as this match will end quicker than a virgin balls deep inside of a Kardashian.
This is a sacred fight. Nobody can interrupt the match. Excellent victory!
Here is your winner, Devon Dudley!
The hell is that?
The last match type worth mentioning is handicap. Here we can have more fun by gaining up on people with rules like 1 versus 3. What's more fun than beating the shit out of Vince McMahon? Ha! Hey Queso, Vince wants Dolores.
Down tonight. Let's get to it.
Take the glove from me, Dolores. Let it rip all over my face, Dolores.
In the ring. Just look. This handicap will be an important match.
God damn, what an animal.
Hurry, hurry. What? The people's elbow. The people's elbow. The people's elbow. The people's elbow. It's all over. Vince McMahon was knocked out.
Here are your winners, Al Snow, Al Snow, and Al Snow.
You may have noticed in the roster you have Fred Durst. Yep, Limp Bizkit has a song in here, so he has to appear in game. Magnet Muscles was right. The only song is Rollin', cause of course it is. That was huge back in the day, even though it did get annoying after a while. Anyone old enough to remember the early 2000s knows the pain we suffered, alongside many annoying commercials like Education Connection, FreeCreditReport.com, Zoom Zoom Zoom, and Head On applied directly to the forehead. Oh, and Zoo Books.
Pointless nostalgia.
Load times are fast in this game. Even when loading up the game for the first time, it's fast. Reading the memory card is fast as well, to load your data. But when it comes to saving, dear God. Be ready for a minimum of 30 seconds to a maximum of 1 minute every single time when you save, especially when creating superstars or even stables. Oh my God, get ready to take a piss break.
Attention. Caution. Caution.
As you can see in the recorded footage, this game performs quite well. I had no issues, even with a ton of wrestlers in the ring. In fact, this was the first and last for a long time to feature 8 wrestlers in the ring at once, until WWE 2K18. Talk about sad when you think about it. God damn.
How sad.
But still, it's a good performing game with fast load times. The only time consuming portion technical wise is saving, as said earlier. So overall, a buttery smooth experience.
The fans are enjoying this. Bang!
So that wraps up one of the 3 known Smackdown games for PlayStation 2. There's a total of 5 Smackdown games, and this marks 3. Hopefully, I can get to Shut Your Mouth next. Well, only time will tell, given how chaotic things can be. Alright, enough is enough. Time to just bring it with the score.
He said it!
At the end of the day, Smackdown Just Bring It is a mediocre game that takes steps back in some ways and continues a few problems from the PlayStation 1 games, but in turn offers better graphics, performance, load time, sound, and more. It's truly a mixed bag, and even though my expectations were not exactly high after Smackdown 2 proved to me nostalgia is a hell of a drug, it was still okay, and Just Bring It is also just okay. But for a next generation title, and as a sequel, you'd expect it to improve on its predecessors, not just repeat the mistakes of the past. Anyways, go give it a try, it's worth playing. I'll have even lower expectations for Shut Your Mouth next.
What do you expect?
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. WWF Smackdown Just Bring It was rather disappointing. For a next generation game, you'd expect more. But it was just Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, with better graphics, controls, and combat. Not exactly a good thing, so I gave it a rather mixed score.
Crazy! Nobody criticizes me! Nobody!
So, what about the next title? WWE Smackdown Shut Your Mouth is the very first of the series to use WWE's rebrand after getting sued by the WWF. Shut Your Mouth boasts a season mode, an updated roster, even better combat and controls, plus a vastly improved superstar creator.
Guys, stop! You're giving me too many options. I'm only one man here.
Plus a few more things I'll cover into the review. So, let's see if this game can truly bring Smackdown a good game. Cause after 3 mediocre games in a row, I could use a breath of fresh air.
You said penguins are gay. Now you shall pay. Suck a dick, Matt Hardy.
Just Bring It left me upset at how terrible its creation mode was, though I still had fun making freaks straight out of a carnival show. But what if you wanted to make real people, or video game characters, cartoons or anime? Well, it wasn't really possible. Now in Shut Your Mouth, you can make people so much easier with more content and improved UI. Create a Superstar is vastly superior to Just Bring Its version. I could finally make Charlie, Muda, and Zack again.
You can be my plaything. I can be your toy. Just because I'm skinny, I can't be your sick boy.
Boingy 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 boingy. Boingy 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 boingy. Boingy 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 boingy.
On top of that, I made Queso, Angry Joe, AVGN, JD Delay, and of course, I brought back Derp. We gotta have Derp. Derp is love. Derp is life. Now, what about stables? It was moved and hidden under the season mode, which I have no interest in covering. So eventually, after finally finding stables, of course, we had to make some custom ones, with their own name, entrance, music, video, and memberships. It's all here like before, introducing the Moisty Boys. Charlie and Muta are here to unleash their sussy-wussy power.
On the way to the ring, Small and the partner, Canadian Superstar.
Queso, Angry Joe, and AVGN are the Mad Lads, ready to throw down as the three-man team.
Big Daddy and the partner, Wild Thing and the partner, Big Daddy.
Finally, for the last stable, Moist Central is Charlie, Muta, and Zach. Another three-man stable ready to throw down with the likes of the Mad Lads.
On the way to the ring, Small and the partner, Canadian Superstar and the partner, Dog.
Get on with it. Yes, get over there.
Control-wise, WWE Smackdown Shut Your Mouth is still the same game. The only thing that's different is everything feels more responsive and fluid.
This is a raucous crowd here tonight in the arena.
Or it could be I'm getting used to the layout after 3 games. Either way, controls are good and similar to Just Bring It.
Check this out.
Just Bring It was criticized for its outdated roster. Well, Ukes listened as Shut Your Mouth is full of newcomers. In fact, at this point, I could say I can recognize a lot of these wrestlers in comparison to the past several games. The Hulkster is even back at this time. So you know, I'm happy. The only thing I hate about this time period of SmackDown was when they changed The Undertaker into the badass biker cliche. Sorry, what's next, Kane in a tutu? You don't change what's established like that. I will never get over that change. Thank God it was only for a short amount of time though. Speaking of better, combat has been also smoothed out. Responsive reversals, easy tagging, well-explained finishers, new weapons in hardcore, and the AI is more threatening than before.
Greensboro, North Carolina is already way too exciting.
Tonight's matches are gonna be great, JR.
There are 30,000 enthusiastic fans here. The arena is on the edge of bursting.
I like it. I think the people here like it too.
Combat is finally fun to really play with. No matter whose moveset you use on a created superstar or which unique wrestler you play as, everything is just so much fun.
I'm about to take my clothes on! I'm about to take my clothes on!
Wow, a standing ovation!
Whoa! Let me on the game! Let me on it! You're about to make me real angry!
Dragon screw.
Sleeper hold.
I hate the lock-on system, right? Well, they made it better with things being more responsive. It will also target your nearest opponent better and faster, so I'm less likely to attack the air now if someone tries to spear me. You'll still want to be ready to hit R2 to switch your target, but it's less of an issue in Shut Your Mouth compared to just Bring It.
How the fuck did this happen? How the fuck did this happen? Was this a bug?
Match types worth playing are the likes of single match, as it's there with its usual one-on-one nature. It's a good way to learn how the game plays, and to test things out for finishers in your created superstars. Oh, and it's fun if you enable interferences. Now I got Muda backing up Charlie. The Rock is really a rock, because no matter how much I beat the shit out of him, he will not go down. It would be like if Yamcha fought Kid Buu in DBZ. There's no chance. That's what you got.
Smackdown Hotel.
I'll take one more last look around this beautiful world before saying my goodbyes to it. Damn you!
Traditional tag team is always fun, especially if you distract the referee so your partner can do some illegal moves. Tagging is simple with the L1 button and everyone just works. Your AR partner can actually fight too and will do their job, unlike those Sega Genesis games.
Now, this really pisses me off to no end.
Fuck you!
I will never work with Shawn Michaels again. But what if you want more chaos in the ring, more bodies flying and being slammed? Well, you gotta go tornado tag with 6 people at once, 3-on-3. Oh boy, howdy. The challenge of trying to not get teamed up on, trying to pin someone while their 2 partners could easily come after you. Everything is pure, chaotic, fun. I also love these new victory scenes that occur, though not always, but when they do, it's a treat.
Whoa!
Case, oh, you're a fat piece of shit. Fuck you, fuck your mother, fuck shrimp, Alfredo.
I hate everything!
With so many options for hardcore, I just couldn't settle with one-on-one or fatal 4-way. We gotta have 6 people duking it out, especially outside of the ring.
What's going on here? False call.
Fire extinguishers, steel pipes, trash cans, chairs, sledgehammers, and more. Oh man, is hardcore just so much fun with us outside of the ring, finally. If only I could trigger any environmental attacks, which might not be a thing yet, though I could smash out the glass on the subway train by running into it, accidentally. So, what is the lesson in hardcore matches? You don't mess with Nintendo virgins. They unleash all of their virginity power onto their foes and somehow win.
Nintendo.
Cage matches are still the same with no signs of improvements. You don't even climb down the other side of the cage. It's just instant win for whoever can get there.
Shit the fuck!
It's gonna be a brutal match,
Still, I like the chaos of 4 people locked in a cage, so you can't go wrong. But I still scream bullshit whenever the AI can magically move faster and win without issue over me.
What the hell is this? Oh no! What's he gonna do? Hogan hits the leg drop. Can you imagine if Stone Cold ran the country? Wouldn't that go?
Is this an argument or just the start of it?
Bullshit!
Royal Rumble is one of the most iconic events in WWE. 30 wrestlers enter the ring with the goal of being the sole member left. Who's going to go to WrestleMania? Who's going to tag team another wrestler? Will there be any rivalries in the ring? Who's going to participate? It may take nearly 30 minutes to get through, but Royal Rumble is tons of fun, even when you're just watching it all unfold, especially with your custom superstars in there. You're not bound to the ring in this game, as you can now brawl backstage, in the corridor, locker room, boiler room, streets, subway station, and more, giving players more freedom of exploration and places to smash people's heads into. Though I did find it hard to pull off any environmental attacks if it's even an option in the first place. Still, just having more than the ring to fight in is a breath of fresh air. Does suck you can't throw people at cars or use the subway train for anything. You also cannot use the TV in the locker room as a weapon. Kind of wanted to smash someone's skull into it. Tables, ladders, and chairs match. TLC. Oh man, you can't help but love brutalizing people with various weapons. You can even set up fighting for a belt, and unlike in Just Bring It, you don't automatically get it. Now you have to fight a bit to get your belt, which is a nice touch.
Fuck you, Kane.
The last match worth mentioning is classic handicap, as it's a ton of fun just watching several people gang up against a single man. Of course, we have to take advantage of this opportunity to beat the shit out of Vince McMahon. It just sucks the AI likes to constantly interrupt your finisher, so I couldn't ever knock out Vince's queso.
Everyone, don't forget to visit chopzone.com.
But that didn't ruin the fun I was having. Handicap allows you to just go hog wild on whoever you want to make regret ever being born. There's only two things left to talk about in the other section. Firstly, compared to just Bring It, both saving and loading is so fast I barely noticed when it occurs. Even loading into a match is pretty fast. Shut Your Mouth vastly improves over just Bring It in this area. Hell, even when saving or loading created superstars, it's still fast. Just a quality of life improvement all around. So that wraps up this game in terms of what's left to say.
Drop mic, we're out.
This marks number 4 out of 5 I've covered so far, leaving just Here Comes the Pain. After playing 4 of these Smackdown games, I could say each one did improve in some areas over their respective prequels. Yet, also, some were a bit disappointing in terms of create a superstar, load times, and gameplay. Each one did do something I liked over the other. For Smackdown 1, it was the stupid creation mode, making the most absurd looking wrestlers. For Know Your Role, it was being able to make more accurate people. For Just Bring It, it was just its improved mechanics giving you a smoother experience. Now, Shut Your Mouth takes those and adds on to them. Whatever lies next, I just hope Here Comes the Pain can deliver. I don't think I ever played that one.
They also said I have dementia.
At the end of the day, WWE Smackdown Shut Your Mouth is an average game worth playing, despite not really adding all that much or changing up some stuff. The improved combat, lock-on system, graphics, load times, saving times, better entrances, backstage brawls, and updated roster really helps to make it a good experience. I wasn't expecting much after Just Bring It, and maybe that's why I enjoyed this one so much, because my expectations were so low. I was seeing the bacteria on the bottom of a septic tank. I also saw Concord there. I'm curious to see if WWE Here Comes the Pain can top this one because of Shut Your Mouth being an improvement. I'll expect more from Here Comes the Pain, so be ready for whenever I can get to it.
We're waiting.
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later. Here we are, with the very last Smackdown game. A journey that started months ago can finally be completed. Yet, for the last game, I was highly disappointed. How is this the so-called best WWE game? One of the so-called greatest games of all time type of material. This game sucked.
Aha, he's kidding. Popcorn?
The downgraded superstar creator, the lackluster roster, the terrible combat and controls, and don't get me started on the technical problems. Here Comes the Pain is a rightful name, for pain is all you'll experience when playing it.
That's so poetic.
I always start out with creating people to play with, using a template of Charlie, Muta, and Zack to see if the creation tools are any good. If I cannot make them, then the tools suck. Well, this time, they were a bit harder to design, mostly because of the morphing of bodies isn't as intuitive this time around. Plus, parts cannot be sculpted like before, leaving you with freaky looking things you'd call people. In turn, this means you can make freaks akin to just bring it though. In a way, I somehow made a Timu, Charlie, Muta, and Zack though. On top of Derp, Angry Joe, a Dollar Tree Queso, and finally, a Dirty Grandpa. Honestly, if you told me he was from Austin, Texas and related to Asmongold, I'd believe you.
This will take me a minute. What the fuck?
There's a lack of parts too, as they removed many customization options in favor of streamlining everything. Now you just have different colored jeans as options basically. Wanted to make a T-Rex prostitute with high heels like in Smackdown 1? You can't. There's only boots and shoes with one pair of sandals. You also have little to no masks, jewelry, shirts, hoodies, jackets, Timothy's bands. But hey, at least you can have blue jeans in pink with orange leopard spots. Yay!
My heart!
Oh my god, Roger, are you okay?
Create a move is where you can assign different moves or even entire sets copied from unique and created superstars. You can assign everything here. Finishers, grapples, entrances, you name it. I just copy over entire movesets from unique superstars, as each created one is based off of someone unique. Gotta keep Charlie as Shawn Michaels, he's the moisty boy toy. Thankfully, stables are now back under creation mode, where it belongs. Yet, I could care less for creating animation. So, we'll just cover stables instead. You can still make stables with the name, members, entrances, music, and video. Though you won't have many options this time around. For 2 or even 3 member stables, half of the unique teams from past games are gone, as the roster was neutered. The controls, however, have been slightly changed, causing me nothing but issues after playing several games of similar systems. To go to the next one and receive something different will throw anyone off. But eventually I started to get used to having R2 and L2 for reversals, as well as square being weapon grab and getting in and out of the ring and entering different areas backstage. Still, just something that should be known if you play this one after the last 4 games. Here Comes the Pain introduces a grapple system, one that sucks greatly. As you try to counter anything, it will fail. As you try to overwhelm your opponent, it will fail. Most of your time will be on the ground wondering, where did everything go wrong in your life? It rarely ever works in your favor. I tried a few different controllers to make sure it wasn't a problem on my end. No, the game itself is just broken. Shocker. have a damaged display on your UI. This will show you each body part and how hurt it is. Though it's nothing special as combat doesn't change, you just now can see what's damaged is all. But hey, I'd rather have it than not. One thing I didn't like about Shut Your Mouth was the lack of detail on what's damaged most. Really helps in hardcore matches, especially since bleeding is finally a thing. As for the roster itself, it has been updated once again, leaving out several wrestlers featured in Shut Your Mouth, mostly due to legal reasons, such as the Ultimate Warrior, or they left the brand with Jeff Hardy, who was on drugs at the time, and Hulk Hogan. For who's here, it's an okay selection, but many are locked as you need to progress in season mode to unlock them. No, thank you. Have everything at the start, or at the very least, cheat codes to allow me to unlock everything right away. I have no desire of wasting my time with a restrictive, dumb-ass career mode. Doing certain things just to unlock a certain wrestler. That was a massive complaint I had with every SmackDown vs. Raw game that did this. Even my favorite, SVR10 did this. Not putting Triple H through a table on a certain episode of Raw as Edge on a certain day in a certain month just to unlock Vince McMahon. Fuck that. Boo! 2 new match types are here, being Elimination Chamber and Bra and Panty Match. Oh yeah, sleazy early 2000s at its finest. Watch Lita get her clothes ripped off by a dim-witted blonde, and that's it. It's a pretty stupid mode with an asinine concept, so I don't care for it. Plus the controls kept fucking with me. As for Elimination Chamber, anyone else just find this match to be stupid? Just a giant cage full of tubes and lights waiting forever to jump into the ring till only one is left. It's a pretty boring match overall. Shut Your Mouth was fast in loading stuff, plus even saving wasn't that long either. Yet here comes the pain. Decided to use its name to describe your waiting time between menus and playing the game. You won't be having any fun while waiting roughly 22 to 45 seconds, give or take, on a single loading screen. We're approaching the Sims 3 territory here, folks. That's not a step in the right direction. For some reason, auto taunts are now a thing. Your wrestlers will randomly start taunting during a fight and you leave you open to attacks. You cannot stop this either. It will randomly occur either not so very often, but still often, or very so often. This is for your created superstar in their settings. You have to choose often or not so often but still often, in turn leaving you open to constantly getting decked by someone else during a fight. Lame.
It's awful.
The new grapple system fucking sucks. No matter what, you will never counter. R2 is for grapple reverse. Doesn't work. L2 is first strike reverse. Doesn't work. The pin counter is mash any button repeatedly. Doesn't work.
3.
The whole system completely ruined the combat. The lock-on system itself has also gotten worse somehow as well. Everything about the gameplay just sucks in comparison to Shut Your Mouth. But hey, blood is finally here. Creating superstars can be a bit more restrictive in terms of morphing bodies, especially faces. I wasn't having fun trying to sculpt people in this iteration, plus there's a lack of clothing options for some reason. Now, we only have sneakers, a pair of sandals, and several boots. Or the same kind of pants with different sizes of legs. I hate how vastly limited our options are this time around. I could barely even make derp. Derp is love. Derp is life. If you liked exploring the world outside of the ring, Shut Your Mouth, and fighting there, you won't have much options this time around, as several locations were removed. The locker room, subway station, the world stage, and more are gone. I honestly don't like that, and want more places to fight outside of the ring, especially for hardcore matches, smashing people's skulls into TVs, or shoving them into oncoming vehicles, even suplexing them into spotlights or dumpsters. It's fun to brawl away from the ring.
Is that all?
If you like any pay-per-view arenas, you'll have a lot here to choose from, which is where they removed backstage arenas come from. Get rid of those in favor of PPV locations instead. I honestly don't care for them, as I'm not a hardcore WWE fan who watches these things since they're PPV, but some of them look neat and could be a refreshing change up from Raw and SmackDown ring fights.
I hadn't thought of that.
There's some glitches in this game. The only one I got recorded, since recording wasn't working half the time, fucking figures, is teleporting outside of the cage in Hell in the Cell.
NANI?
So I just sat there watching everyone else fight for a while before I got back into the fight. Honestly, it wasn't a game-breaking bug, yet it's a concern, making you wonder if someone can win matches by glitching at times. Now that would suck, especially if it's a title match. When you look it over, this game doesn't really do much to justify paying money for it. I mean, there's not a whole lot here in comparison to last year's title Shut Your Mouth, removed wrestlers, arenas, and downgraded combat, plus long load times to boot between every single action. No thanks. This game just doesn't give me any real value in comparison.
Intriguing.
The UI clogs the screen, especially once there's 6 people in the ring. It is just a mess, and it can get really irritating trying to see what's going on because of the UI at the bottom with the 4 wrestlers down there. This really gets in the way, especially in backstage brawls and everyone's spreading out during a hardcore match. I can't see half of the people because they're hidden behind the UI. The UI in general just sucks. It is just bad. Well, that does it. We're done with all Smackdown games. Most were not good, and some were flawed, yet worthwhile. After this, they would do the SmackDown vs. Raw series in 2004 till 2010. So maybe one day I'll look at all of the SVR games. For now though, I want to avoid wrestling games for a while, like Dynasty Warriors and The Sims. So, I'll figure out what's next when the time comes. Let's be done with this review already.
Oh, thank God. It's over.
At the end of the day, Here Comes the Pain is a mediocre game, not really worth playing. There's tons of problems, but it can barely function. So I guess it's just okay. Go play it if you hate yourself. Otherwise, go play Shut Your Mouth instead. That's it with this journey. A lot of mediocrity was involved. Very fitting for Ukes at this time, as it took them till the late 2000s to really nail everything down, from the combat to the controls, and of course, creation suite options and possibilities.
Can't you see that?
Anyways, that's it for this video. See you all later.